My name is Jack Delaccio. I'm the owner and founder of Essentia. I started the company in 2006, but it started a few years before that for me. I started looking into and developing the Essentia material back in 2003 when I had some people in the family who were struck by some illnesses, cancer, and with what was going on, we were seeing a lot of alternative health practitioners and conventional, and really evaluating what was best for them. And I was just absorbing like a sponge of this new situation. And we realized we had to clean, detox the home. And we had a history in latex mattress components. That was a family business. So we had realized then and there that there were no right products for people really who were sensitized to chemicals, people who were going through some really harsh treatments, and in trying to, one, find an organic solution, two, an organic solution that was helping the body, was not keeping them up at night, was trying to get them their sleep, and at that time, it was just healthy sleep at a very primitive type of things. We all know sleep is important. We all accept that. We don't really understand how relevant it is, how deep it goes, how your environment really plays a huge role in that. And I got to tell you, I didn't even discover that in day one of Essentia. I launched 2006, the world's only natural memory foam. And with that, we made the first Essentia mattresses. It was pressure relieving, redistributed your body weight, supported your core, and you weren't breathing in toxins. So it was a healthy product. But that was just at its infancy. And in 2006, we made the best mattress in the world just because of the material components. But it was only after years, because I never stopped my development in the company. My passion was always to keep striving for more, keep making it better. And the purpose was always the users. Our first users were people, grassroots hearing about us. We were just a factory in Montreal, a small little factory in Montreal, and we were shipping to California, to Vancouver, to Toronto, New York, just by word of mouth. People undergoing treatments that were having a hard time finding the right product. They were either sensitized to the chemical company products, or they had allergic reactions to the current organic products on there. So by 2009, we continued R&D and understanding sleep and understanding sleep cycles and understanding how everything impacts your central nervous system. We really dug deep and never quit on understanding how the body interacts with the environment at night. And in 2009, I patented a core, which surpassed what we did in 2006 as a material science. We developed a core that reacted to your body movements while you sleep, kept you into your sleep cycles, allowed your brain activity to get into those healing points for longer periods of time into your delta sleep, dropped your body temperature, so it permeates your body heat through the core. It's the only mattress in the world that still does that today, naturally. There's no chemical additives to have this happen to you. But the core drops 7 degrees over an 8-hour time lapse, which is incredible. Like no other product's ever done this before. And we do this all through the organic components that are in there. So it's not like we're not, it's that much more difficult. We're not inventing something mechanical or something robotic. It's something within materials themselves that naturally create this environment for sleep. And it's been a journey. It's just been a journey of pushing to make the healthiest product. We listened to our customers through the years, what their feedback was. Initially we engaged with the industry to see if we could learn something from them, but there was not much to learn from the industry itself. So we focused more on who are our real influencers, our health practitioners, yogis, people about wellness, lifestyle. Those are the people that really stimulate us. Those are the people that gave us that passion to dig deeper and to make products better, healthier, with the user in mind. We've always had the same philosophy from the beginning: is love it or send it back. We don't want anybody not to be passionate about our product. And if you see, I constantly get letters, and yesterday was actually one of my favorite ones, and it was an Olympic athlete coming back from Rio, and it was a really well written full letter, and in there were so many compliments that I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. But it was what really touched me was he's approaching me because he sees on our website that we have so many professional athletic ambassadors, from hockey players to basketball players, to football players, all professional players and professional teams. And so here was this Olympic athlete, and he said, I know I'm not high profile like your other, but would you consider working on an endorsement deal? And part of his passion when he was writing about this, I don't know if you had heard, this is the Canadian Olympian that gave up a medal. He was on the speed walking, and halfway through the race, a competitor was giving up. So he stopped, and he helped him up, and he told him to keep going. Well, he ended up in 4th place. That stop cost him being one of the medals. He got a lot of positive press for being, what the Olympics are about, and he really represented what being Canadian is. And so we relate to that. Obviously, being a Canadian company, that's what we do. We are always stopping to help people. We're always stopping to readjust to make sure that we're doing things right for everyone involved. And when I said about the sports about it, it goes incredibly, all of our athletic ambassadors have that same Canadian attitude, whether they're American or Canadian. Oddly enough, in Essentia, it becomes all one melting pot. And interesting, none of our athletes are on payroll. They're not sponsored. They just genuinely give their testimonial just because they want to pay it forward. They want other people to have the same level of recovery. They want to have other people to have the same level. They just passionately believe in what we do. And we have guys that earn 7 figures just for an endorsement spot. Yet they donate to Essentia just to inspire others to be well. So I explained this to the Olympic athlete, but I said, I do want to speak to him because I was so moved by his journey, what he did in the Olympics, and I just feel that we connect that way, and there surely is a way that we can help each other out, and that's kind of the doors are always open at Essentia because we learn from everyone. We learn from situations, we learn from other people's experience, we learn from our own experiences, and everything we learn passionately goes back into the product and service and what we do. So it's been 11 years, and it's been incredible because no one has ever caught up to our 2006 product. And yet we've blown that product away time and time again with new developments in 09, new developments in 12. And we're just passionate about sleep and what that does to people. And today I have such a deep understanding of how critical sleep is, how important it is for recovery from training. I work a lot with athletes now, so obviously a lot of my language is less about cancer. Those were the people that, and while those people still are very well served by us, today I'm personally one-on-one working with professional sports teams. We look at how we can help them recover from concussions, injury, and really get them back on the field as soon as possible. Those are people who are very much in touch and in tune with their bodies, more so than sort of the ordinary Joe. And not that the ordinary Joe is just because they push themselves to such an extreme limit and they're so conscious about their body that when they sleep right, they immediately know it. And that's why we have such passionate athletic ambassadors. Whereas someone who's just going through a regular routine and they're not so in touch with their bodies because maybe their stress levels are high, they're not eating right, there's so many components to being well. And I think some of the great trainers have split it up. People used to say 80% diet, 20% exercise, and guys in the professional sports strength and conditioning coaches have corrected me, saying that that's all wrong. People forget sleep. Sleep is a huge part of that formula, and it's 40% sleep, it's 40% diet, and it's 20% exercise. And that's the type of formula they're trying to pass on to their players to recover faster, to stay on the field, and to be the best they can be. So it's been an amazing ride so far, and we're far from done. We just keep pushing ourselves to get better. Well, I've experienced it firsthand. Like for the last 11 years, I've put my product and company first before me. And that's I guess in looking at it, that's a typical characteristic. I've seen a lot of, people who are developing or entrepreneurs are always putting the company before themselves. And I was exactly that. I worked between 10 and 2 at night as a supplement to the daytime work that I did. I used to love playing a lot of sports. I cut back on my sports, cut back on my exercise, binged on all the wrong foods, and, it accumulated. Over 10 years, found myself at just over 320 pounds, doing great things for Essentia, doing great things for our customers, great things for our people. But personally, I was paying that sacrifice for it. And I was still a happy person. It's not like I hit rock bottom. I didn't think I hit rock bottom until a friend of mine in New York challenged me to a weight loss and triathlon. And his words were this: Jack, you make the healthiest product in the world. And he goes, and I make the healthiest monitoring system in the world. It's a company that it's a certifying board, and so a well certifying board. And he said, let's go to the challenge. Well, I'm quite competitive, so when I was challenged, I go, absolutely. Shook hands, went into professional sports team. The next day I was consulting with the Montreal Canadiens. So it was in their dressing rooms, guys, I've got to do an official weigh-in, I need witnesses. So the players were my witnesses. I get on the scale. I actually thought I was about 310. So I jumped on the scale, and they weighed me in at 322 pounds. So we started the campaign. They were all holding up signs of 322, pointing at me, because I actually, believe it or not, weighed most of all these athletes in the dressing room. I was the heaviest guy there. And fortunately carried it somewhat well. Now that I look at pictures, not as well as I thought. And I started intense training, intense just eating right. I actually followed the Hippocrates way, a raw, vegan, nutritious diet. And I was training, I was at the gym about 7 days a week. I was running, I was playing hockey 3 days a week. So I probably had about approximately 12 sports activities per week in 7 days. Now everyone tells you need some rest in between, but no, this is Jack, and I have to plow forward, I have to win this competition, and not by a small margin. I have to really do it well. And I was intimidated by the triathlon. I've never done a triathlon before. I have no physical ailments, and I don't want problems with my knees, problems with my hips, problems with my back, and I figured at 300 pounds, I'm breaking everything. So I actually went on this journey, and it probably lasted 6 weeks, maybe 8, where things were going well, the pounds were shedding down, I'm feeling strong and pumped. All of a sudden, it's like I ran into a wall. I'm miserable, I'm cranky, I'm tired, I'm no longer lifting the weights I could lift, I'm not running as fast as I can. I was completely spent. And then I had to make some decisions. I have to cut back. I can't do 12 activities a week. I need to drop down to maybe 5. 12 to 5, that's less than half of what I was doing. I said, let me try something else. Let me try what I've been preaching for many years and I still haven't done. I eliminated my 10 to 2 work. And it was kind of a big decision for me to stop opening my laptop between 10 and 2, just because, I still, have my family time, I have 2 boys, my wife. So to me, dinner time was not going to be the time I was giving up. It had to come from work. And it was a little intimidating because I'm responsible for over 100 people in the company, and I have to make sure that I'm there. So I eliminated the 10 to 2 work, closed the laptop, put it away, and made sure I had my 8 hours of sleep every night. Within 2 days, my energy level was over the top. I never stopped the training, so I continued the training. I continued eating well. My work days were like powerhouses. I was making decisions on a snap. I had energy to be meeting over and over and over. So my days were so packed with productive work. My evenings were loaded with my training, my early morning training. I still had my family time and I had my 8 hours sleep. I was able to keep that going for another 5 months. Lost 75 pounds, completed the triathlon, and all I did was made sure I had my 8 hours sleep. Obviously, I sleep on Essentia, so it's probably the most powerful sleep you can have. But just the fact that I had 8 hours counted for something. The fact that I had Essentia sleep for 8 hours just made it, amplified it to being that much better. And so that was just an incredible firsthand, after 10 years of doing this and talking about this. And listen, I didn't know what I know today in 2006. So it's not like I have 10 years of real knowledge about this. I'd say that the knowledge of how the impact of sleep has accumulated over the year, what I've learned through others, through everyone. And so I'd say it's been 3 to 5 years that I have this deep knowledge of what sleep can do for you. And the first time I applied it was this year, and it was incredible results.